Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, with OpTic Scrims getting involved in some search and destroy scrims last night for one of the first times that we have been able to see. Crimsix also was going rogue on stream, no doubt about it, mocking Envoy somewhat, but also rage quitting a set of 8s. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do. Top of the channel, reaching new people. Please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. First of all, this from Parasite, it might be that time, he says. So, who knows what happens here, whether Parasite's going to retire from challenges. He's obviously been one of the most frustrated players in that side of things. Been talking about all the frustrations that he's had as a player, the state of the game, the state of the league, and you can certainly understand it. I'm not sure how many times Parasite has retired. I think it's a few times. Sometimes you'll see players, I think back in the day, he'll say, he's retiring from competing, not going to try and give it a go, and then he'll pick it back up again. We kind of saw this with Aqua, actually. We'll talk about Aqua here in a second, because he's on the Westar team right now, but he kind of, after was on Paris last year, didn't get a spot this year. He said that he wasn't going to play competitive COD anymore in challenges. He was going to go to Warzone, but often the transition there is a bit difficult, and I think he's decided actually to come back and compete in challenges anyway. So pretty interesting stuff. Hopefully Parasite doesn't hang up the sticks, because you never know if this time might be the final time, but obviously a fantastic, a glittering career in all sorts of aspects. Kind of a shame at how things worked out for him on London last year, but I hope he keeps it going in challenges, because I still think he can be a great asset to a team in the future, and who knows, right, if expansion comes in, Haggy could be one of the prime suspects to actually get as a player to pick up, right, as you're kind of, alright, give Haggy the spot and let him build the team he wants to build, because if you let him actually build a squad around him with players that he knows are good from challenges, I'm sure he could build a pretty competitive team with the pieces that he may have available to him. This is also from OpTic Scrims, right? Shotzzy just doing some things on Bakashi, which are pretty ridiculous. Damn, that movement is actually kind of crazy. That guy was completely mind blown, and this is just what this guy does, right? I don't know how he pulls it off, but it's just spectacular to watch. I hope they do something where, I'm pretty sure back in the MLG days, I don't know if you guys remember this, MLG.TV, I'm thinking Infinite Warfare time, they had some situation, Jesus, that guy got turned on as well, that they would choose one player per match, that would they would have an additional camera on there, so you could just watch their POV the entire game if you wanted to on MLG.TV. Shotzzy would be the perfect candidate to have something like that, right? Just watching this guy come around the map the whole game would be very entertaining indeed. But OpTic were playing some scrims last night up against the Wester guys, and also they played some search and destroy. Now, of course, the search and destroy stuff wasn't streamed, but we still got to know what happened, apparently, from what Aqua said as a result of it. So I thought pretty interesting stuff, really, to see how these teams are potentially matching up, because search and destroy is obviously going to be very important in this game, especially if, it could be 3 search and destroys. If control doesn't work, 3 S&Ds could be on the table. It's kind of unlikely, but at least at the kickoff classic, right, main control is still maybe somewhat suspect, as we looked at earlier today. So first of all, they played some crazy scrims up against Wester right here. Maybe Gamma2 is the new checkmate for OpTic after all, because they beat them 250-37 here on this map, so pretty disgusting really at the end of the day. Interesting map, not sure I really like watching it, but there are some blowout potentials, there's no doubt about that. We've said a few blowouts most certainly over these last couple of weeks. The entire scrim courtesy of CDL Scrim Intel goes 252 at 220, 251-44, 250-37, so I guess that OpTic just kind of wanted to scrim search and destroy, but maybe Wester said, okay, let's just scrim some respawns. Didn't play Berlin for whatever reason as far as we're aware, but then they played search and destroy, and OpTic won all the search and destroys, apparently, according to what Aqua had to say on stream after the fact. 2 was 6-0, 1 was 6-3, 1 was 6-4. So yeah, definitely getting some search and destroy practice in play. OpTic apparently looking pretty good, but obviously, the Wester team aren't exactly the biggest names, but it's Fire, it's Aqua, it's Zaptius, and it's Hamza Frosty. So maybe not Hamza Frosty anymore, just Hamza, I think. So yeah, anyway, pretty solid squad of amateur players, but didn't really seem to put up much of a fight in this one, no doubt. This, let's dive into then from Crimsix, right? So last night, he was having a pretty good time on the stream, and he says this first of all, changing the meta today, sorry bros, but the auto is old news. So he reckons the automaton's out of there, not using that one anymore, using a different weapon. I believe he was trying out the AS44, which isn't exactly the greatest weapon, I think, on paper, but still, maybe he was trying to make it work. I saw a couple of clips that came through, it didn't really seem like anything particularly spectacular was going on, but yeah, Crimsix is, I guess, trying his best. The auto, we do wonder what's going to happen there, because it seems like the kind of weapon to me that might get GAs. Right now, there's a load of issues within the game outside of just the weapon balancing, and the pros, I guess, kind of like this gun, because last year in Black Ops Cold War, I remember stage 1, you guys might remember, we played with the XM4, then it got banned, and it was just the Krig only from then on out. Now, whether this something similar happens this year, I'm not really sure. I think right now there's probably bigger concerns that the pros are thinking about than, the weapon balancing, let's just say, but at some point they may decide this is kind of the weapon that can be considered sometimes to be a little bit too strong, like a do-it-all type weapon, and Crimsix is trying to maybe get ready for if it does get banned, what other weapon comes into play, right? Kind of like the QBZ last year, maybe the AS44 could be in a similar boat. I'll show a couple of clips for for you guys, one of which is him playing a series of 8, I'm pretty sure, Gather 2, and gets pretty frustrated about it, well, died to a grenade all the way across the map, gets straight up Kobe's, and well, rage quits, I'm pretty sure, just after that, and also when he's, well, talking about Envoy on stream, has a few interesting words to say in what is supposedly an Envoy accent.
Guys are mid?
Yep.
Top boat me. They're gonna be top cliff.
Top boat. Left side of top boat.
Good.
Left side of top boat, Lamar.
Got 2.
Nice, good.
Missing 1.
Looking for 1.
Cocky.
We are serious. He's stuck. Dead.
Oh my god, no.
Top cliff, 1 bullet. Two top cliff.
behind us.
We're done.
Left.
We're done. We're actually done.
That's dead.
What happened?
Yo, why am I I'm sensing absolutely no pep in Envoy step right now. What's up with that? He said, Jesus. Bro, be happy to be playing this game, you know, for a living.
I love life, dude. You sound like it. There's a whole...
So one of the other things that got added into the game yesterday was a weapon inspect option that has been added into the Vanguard settings. Of course, major update right here, of course, you know, I'm sure some people would say, look, put the resource into something which is more instrumental, but well, as Octane says, unbind at Kenny. So this is the thing with Kenny, like, people always say, and well, because it's true, that he runs around the map always YYing, right? So he'll press out, I guess it's triangle, because most people use the PS4 controllers now, but I mean, maybe actually people are going back to the Xbox ones, given it's on PC. Not really sure what controllers all the players are using, but maybe I need to look at that Crone article that I mentioned from a couple of days ago. But I mean, yeah, still, triangle, YY or whatever, changing your weapon back and forth. This kind of a habit that some of the pros have. Kenny certainly has it, and it does cost him some gunfights when he's running around and, you know, gets into the middle of a gunfight when he doesn't expect to. He doesn't even have his weapon out. Another thing I guess you can do is weapon inspect, which I guess just, you know, bring your weapon up in front of you, have a look at it, all this type of stuff. And I guess Kenny might be one of the prime suspects to do something like that as well. So it turns out, look, please do not use this going forwards. This also I wanted to talk about from Clayster last night, because there was a lot of talk yesterday about Reginald over at TSM and well, some investigations going on into that actually. Now, as Clayster says, he talks about the owner that he used to be dealing with back in the day as well. Now, well, of course, you have to read between the lines here to find out exactly what organization he's talking about, but it's pretty clear that it's FaZe Clan. So as he says, had this happened for years on one of the most famous esports teams. So already you're thinking, okay, you know, which teams was Clayster on? He was on FaZe for a long time, he was on OpTic for a little bit as well. Within 60 seconds of a loss, I'd have to answer a phone call or get fined, and when I'd pick it up, it'd legit be me getting screamed at for 30 to 60 minutes by this investor guy. Pretty pathetic, absolute bullies. And, you know, these are some of the quotes that Clayster says that he was, well, that they were basically fired at him on the phone after they lost the series. Maybe you're just not where you need to be talent-wise. Why do we spend money on the team that can't win a match? Do you think the reason you suck is your leadership or your actual skills? Explain to me how you're worth it. 2 world championships later, screw that guy, says Clayster. So to me, this does not seem like a particularly good way to motivate your players, right? If every time they lose a series, they're just going to get absolutely roasted by this investor guy. So, well, as Clay says, for those asking why I don't expose, the specific guy I'm talking about got outed for the company after I left. No reason to slander the org when they're already taken action. Just recalling how it legit happened all the time to really anyone. So, of course, reading between the lines, 2 world championships later. So at the time, he only had 1 world championship, and putting it together with the most famous esports teams, it's pretty clearly the time where he was on FaZe Clan during Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, pretty much this time period. And I'm pretty sure Zuma might also have talked about this guy. I'm not sure what his name was, that got kicked out of the company as a result of, I guess, some of this type of action. Now, well, his replies right here, pretty much Benjay and Asim, of course, been part of FaZe, pretty much confirming, yes, it's something to do with FaZe. Some people have issues, man, says nameless person in question did not last too long in this industry. You know, Clay can attest he was not a fan of Ben as well over at that side of things. And even Center talked about this as well. We're giving you the captainship regardless of what the players think. It's your team now, Doug, right? So that's what was being discussed actually at FaZe as well, that Center was kind of told at one point. I'm pretty sure this might have been maybe like a pre-World War II, or I forget exactly when this was that Doug talked about this, but he was told by someone at FaZe that he was going to have the keys to the ship, right? He was going to, you know, you're going to be the captain, and that's how it's going to go. Of course, the reality was very different, right? That Doug actually never got a shot on the starting team at all. So I guess maybe a similar investor guy that was, well, speaking straight BS, I guess, on the timeline, or at least to Doug said to Martin behind the scenes. This also, just to finish off with a couple of things, definitely intrigued to hear your perspective on this down below. What hot take would get you this reaction that is kind of funny? Like, I think a lot of people, when they reply to stuff like this, they actually give a take that it might be a hot take, but it's a pretty well received one, to be honest. I guess my hot take might be that every Black Ops game, with maybe the exception of Cold War, I think is I had more fun on every single Black Ops game than every single Modern Warfare game. That might be a hot take. Well, it definitely is a hot take, to be honest, but at least it actually is a hot take, right? Because most people who actually do hot takes here, they just say something that's actually just a popular opinion. And just to finish off with this from Call of Duty League, the greatest comeback in COD history. Definitely, yeah, well, getting some excitement, getting ready to go for the new season. Yes, it's still a Cold War clip. We should be having Vanguard clips at this point, but you know, we deal with what we can get our hands on. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting a like button tells the YouTube gods it's a good video. Others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
I needed the mountain to climb. I'm a firm believer, like, if you feel like you've gotten to the top of the mountain, you need to pick a new mountain, because once you get there, if you just, like, for the longest time, I'm gonna go back into a rant, but you know, I felt like I was great at this. Like, I was the guy who was like, he was great, and now you're just kind of around. That. I'm never gonna be that. I always want to be pushing for more. It's that push. It's the climb. It is the mountain to climb that is the most incredible feeling in life. And I don't give a about the money. I've got plenty of money to enjoy my life and, you know, not have to worry about day-to-day ordeals. But it's the climb, and it is, you know, the mountaintop that I really never want to reach. You know, I want to keep setting goals higher and higher and higher, so that I never reach them.